Hey, this is Niels on Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Buy some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium because it's a cool thing to do. Why not? It's not financial advice, it's just advice. Sound advice, maybe. And be kind, helpful, and grateful because it's a lot better than being a jerk, last I checked. This is about I received one of my subscribers sent me some, seems to be a little concerned about UFOs and people thinking, hey, what's up, C4? Thinking that there's unmanned drones or these flying drones or whatever they are could be nefarious or whatnot. And I've already seen reports where the government's kind of lackadaisical about it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a tell in my book. So I decided to do, a little commonsensical research since the government's not too concerned. Now, some of these videos I've seen, and I don't have them really show, but some of them show different types of drones, and some show things that, quite possibly might not be a drone, and they don't have lights. And I've heard reports from credible, law enforcement where these things don't fly like drones. When the lights go off, they take off at astronomical speeds and all this other stuff. So as you can see, it's I got up here on the screen what's behind the Navy's UFO fusion energy patent. Interesting. So we're scrolling through it here, showing the tic-tac, whatever. And it says here, when Dr. Salvatore Cesar Paez, an aerospace engineer at the Naval Weapons Center, Aircraft Division, filed a patent on plasma compression fusion device in 2019. It was either a giant breakthrough or a mad science. According to the patent application, the miniature device could contain and sustain fusion reactions capable of generating in gigawatts. In the gigawatt, that's 1 billion watts, to terawatt, which is 1 trillion watts. Now, this thing here says it's a miniature device that can pull a lot of power. Okay, if you have a lot of power, you can power a lot of things and do a lot of things. A large coal plant or a mid-sized nuclear power reactor comparison produces 1 to 2 gigawatt range. This revolutionary invention by Dr. Paez, if real, would produce near unlimited clean energy from something no larger than a sports utility vehicle. Dr. Paez fusion device is among a handful of outlandish technologies dubbed UFO patents that have in some shape or form been pursued by the U.S. Navy. So it went from a UFO technology of crazy things where infinite power and small devices to where the U.S. Navy's. Now, the U.S. Navy pursued rocket technology after World War II and sabotaged the American Army's rocket program to where Congress turned it over, along with all the German scientists, over to the Navy. So the Navy has a history of doing some cool stuff with technology. And then it says here, I've written before with some skepticism on the implications of Dr. Paez's purported compact fusion reactor for U.S. energy independence. The physicist appeared to have a bona fide credentials, including a PhD from Case Western, and published some of his own works while in his presumably classified, which is, hold on, wait. Which is some of it, which is presumably classified. He has been employed at the Pentagon for decades, and this isn't the first patent filled in his name. All of them appear centered around what is called the Paez effect. Dr. Paez posted that controlling the accelerated spin or vibration of electrically charged matter, high energy electromagnetic fields can be produced. One proposed use for such field of an electromagnetic field generator. This also allows you to be able to go in all directions at very fast speeds. And I believe it conquers the inertial dampening effect, which would splatter you along the side of your vehicle that's going at 27,000 Gs. It's an electromagnetic, and it creates its own magnetic field around a device, so it could do what that ship called, that spaceship they called the Tic Tac thing, theoretically could be run by an electromagnetic field generator if small enough. Well, oddly enough, the Navy has a patent for one of those. How interesting. Okay, now let's see, device period of time. While the patent makes clear that such a device would work only on small asteroids or under roughly 100 meters in length or less, it is hard to grasp in the interest of any defense agency in providing contingencies for such a scenario. What is this? Electromagnetic field generator device which can be applied and alter the trajectory of earthbound asteroids. Okay, so this is something that can alter the trajectory of earthbound asteroids. An electromagnetic field generator, like a tractor beam. Okay, so that's just one of the patents that the American Navy has. So, oh wow, there's a lot of people in here. Sorry. Hey, what's up, Mary? Nickel. Who else is here? Mary, Nickel, C4. Yeah, pretty much. You just go live and start talking. If people show up, they show up. But anyhow, that's just one of the patents I discovered from the electromagnetic patents that are out there that are controlled by the Navy. And there's so many more I could go through here. Boeing's plasma shield patent, patents assigned to Advanced Plasma Power Limited. Let's go to the next couple here. And there's articles on all of these. Okay, at last, the guy behind the Navy's wild UFO patents. Ooh, he speaks. Maybe we check that one. Okay, here's another one, U.S. Navy fusion patent reactor. Processing patented technology. Plasma gasification revolutionized waste management. Killer patents and secret science, free energy. Patent nuclear fusion pushes to reach commercial power plant. There are so many patents out here. If you guys just research, and how's it going, Mary? Instead of jumping to conclusions of, oh, they're aliens, or, oh my God, we're being invaded. I've heard many times people say, oh, well, our government has advanced technologies they won't tell us about, and they're 30 years ahead of us. Okay, I agree with you. So why can't we apply that logic to now? I just showed you one of the patents that's out there that the U.S. Navy has that would allow them to do all kinds of fun stuff that would seem alien. And what you must also understand is what we perceive as being alien would be advanced technologies. Something coming here with advanced technologies. Well, if our government has 20 to 30 years more advanced technology than us, and they have patents on fusion reactors and tractor beam, basically, is just what the patent I just read. It's a way to steer asteroids, and the patent was given in 2019. And you just can't go to the patent office and say, hey, I have a design for a spaceship, and then you draw out a little cartoony spaceship and say, here it is, I want a patent for a spaceship. You actually have to have technical papers and scientific proof and mathematics behind you. They're an organization that requires proof of concept. So you just can't go there and get a patent all kinds of willy-nilly. Air Force, Air Force, actually, back in the 1950s, they had a saucer that flew with a style of technology for, what do you call those blades that went around the whole underlining of the saucer to give it lift, but they couldn't control direction, so they didn't go nowhere. It was a different type of engine they were trying. But I just wanted to get people on the thought process of don't jump straight into it's aliens, especially with everything we've seen in the past 4 years of what our government can and will do. Knowing that, we're seeing it with our own eyes, knowing and agreeing, everyone knows and agrees that our technology, military technology, is decades ahead of what we have. They release it every so often to companies to turn out to us. They released it back last time they released technology was during the dot-com, right before the dot-com boom, several years actually before the dot-com boom, when they released the technology that was an Army intelligence, global intelligence system It was the global the Army's global intelligence web or something like that, and they turned it over to Bill Gates, and it became Windows, World Wide Web. So the technology we're using right now used to belong to the United States Army, and they turned it over to a private company 30, 40 years ago, and boom, they profited from it. And now we have this. Well, they're dumping new technology. And I've been saying it for dead inside something, six something. They say that drones are spraying liquid sewage. Well, there is a way to tell for sure. If they were spraying liquid sewage, I'm sure some city council member would say something. Whether or not it would make the news, I'm sure through word of mouth, we'd hear some chirping of that. I've seen live videos of people walking down the street in Jersey, filming and watching one of those drones. And they are drones. They're not unidentified, at least the ones that I've seen. They have the red and the green lights, which are FAA regulations. So obviously, whatever it is, it's not too suspicious because it's following the FAA regulations. It's following every American flight law out there. I don't know. I just seem to think it's a new technology. I do know that the AEU and Saudi Arabia approved the use of the first was automated drone taxi a little over a year ago. And that technology has been being perfected over there for over a year. And I haven't heard of any crashes or deaths. Not that you would coming out of that country. They would cover that stuff up and, fix the problem and act like it didn't happen and give the guy's family $1 million and you'd never hear about it. So that is possible. But they've been working on the drone taxi, the automated drone taxi in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, and AEU for over a year. So they might. Dead is not blue. What are you talking about? You want to come up here, Nickel? I know it's hard. Hey, what's up, Steve? I know it's hard to type what you want to say. So if anyone wants to come up, you are more than welcome to do so. I just started off this chat specifically to give a little information because, like I said, one of my subscribers, Joseph, was very interested in this drone thing. So my brain instantly went to look for U.S. patents because I don't trust the government. And I'm pretty sure they're behind it. They hear all these politicians and stuff like, oh, there's nothing to be concerned about, this, that, and the other. Okay, then they definitely know what it is. So, they know what it is. And so if they know what it is and they're not telling us, okay, now we go into logical and deductive reasoning. There's several different things. It could be now, and I know no one wants to admit this, but this is the biggest hype possible for a new drone taxi service. And because they're wanting to push for laws, maybe they're going to start, this is a way for that taxi service, that unmanned drone taxi service, to be introduced to America so the American people can start thinking about laws on, hey, can they fly over houses? Can they fly high? Can they fly low? We don't know any of this stuff. We do know that you can do research, and thank you very much, Mary. And you can do your own research and ask questions. Always ask questions. Don't follow the lemmings. Don't follow the news. Don't follow the crowd. Do your own research on this stuff and see what the possibilities could be, and use your own deductive reasoning and logic and your own personal knowledge that you've learned through life and the wisdom of your parents that's been passed down to you, and come up with a reasonable explanation for it. And if you don't have one, then go ask others. But don't believe anybody, and don't listen to things that'll lead to a quote unquote mass hysteria, especially nowadays. If you want a black swan event, I think a mass hysteria created by some drone, not even alien, because it's got red and green lights on it. If they could push that to a mass hysteria thing, they could do a lot of crazy stuff like they did in COVID. So level heads need to prevail, and we need to sit back. And if it doesn't make sense, don't act like a duck with your head cut off or a chicken with your head cut off and just go running around. Stand back, step back, take a look at this. take a look at the scenario and the scene going on around you at the time and see what applies. And if it doesn't apply, if it doesn't fit, yeah, it's probably not real. Although it might be a good headline and they might get 30,000 views an hour, doesn't mean it's real. It just means it's a popular theory. So do your own research and find different videos. And if you find interesting videos, that things that are definitely not drones or videos that definitely do not have red and green lights on each wing, you can kind of sort of tell as a drone following the law. If you have any of those videos, that would be cool to see. I don't have the ability to tell if they've been faked or not. So that would be my first thing, being that I'm a kind of skeptic on all information I receive until I validate it and verify it myself. I do know that there's good technology out there, especially with AI. So the ability of someone to just create a scenario through an AI video, you cannot deny that possibility. So it has to be part of your deductive reason and logical thinking on what these things could be. Just don't go flying off the handle. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you can fly off the handle if you want. It's cool to watch those people. What's up, Nickel? or do you want us to call you? What's a guys in the chat? What's a good alien name? I would say Zarto, but it's already taken.
Now, what the drones are, it's just the government. It could be the Air Force. They could be.
Well, I just at the beginning of the show, I was talking about a couple different Navy patents, and if you look at the history, and here's part of deductive reasoning and logic and critical thinking. If you look at the history of the Navy after World War II, the Army was given the German rocket program, and the Army was supposed to take it, run with it, and perfect it, and all this other stuff. And if you see what happened, and you really get into the research and study the history of that, they were kind of sabotaged by some Navy intelligence officers, and Congress ended up, and also some Congress and senators, and they flipped it and they gave it to the Navy in like 1946 or something. And that's when our nuclear program started. And the Navy's been in control of it ever since then. And they're in control of all that kind of new technology and stuff like that. So I always go to the Navy patents and what the Navy has put in for first when it comes to this thing, because they have a history of taking all the cool tech and making it look like aliens. I mean, when we got our first nuclear bomb, what you think people believed it? No way. You can't take out a 10-mile round city and kill 300,000 people with one bomb and leave a big mushroom cloud that goes up 5 miles in the air. I've never seen that before. New technology.
I think Space Force will be developing aircraft that they can.
Well, that's another thing as far as deterrence go. We don't even need and I know you guys haven't put probably. I don't want to put words into you guys' thoughts, but I doubt you've thought of the lack of need for any kind of nuclear weapon now that we have a Space Force, because the whole intent of a fight is to win it and take over. If it's nuclear and radiated out, you can't take over. So what the Space Force has done is you can take a little 6 foot long, 3-inch round tungsten steel rod and shoot it down at the Earth from space, and it'll do the cataclysmic damage of a megaton nuclear bomb without any radiation. So you can still take out cities and bases and stuff like that without any kind of explosion other than a super speedy, 6 foot long, 4-inch round tungsten bar coming from outer space, being shot from outer space to the Earth within 3 to 6 meters. I mean, so you could take out cities. So actually, nuclear weapons are actually irrelevant. Right? So again, I say new technology. If you can make nuclear weapons irrelevant, I mean, why waste the money? Why are we building new nukes? We have no reason to build new nukes. Zero whatsoever with the Space Force. They have we have a 360 around the Earth. We can drop a tungsten rod on your ass 24/7. We don't need to build any more nukes. It's called a deterrent. You're never going to use them. Well, a deterrent that you can use is a tungsten rod from space, because it doesn't leave any radiation. It doesn't leave any catastrophic damage where you can't go in there for 10,000 years. It gets rid of the problem, and then you just go in there, sweep it up, and no one wants to get hit, so they all behave. No need for spending millions of dollars on nukes, but yet we still are. So things are going a certain reason for a reason. What that is, I have not figured out, but I do know we don't need a lot of the stuff that's going on right now and that we're spending a lot of money on. And the Space Force is one of those things that made nuclear war irrelevant.
Well, we're not making the big nukes anymore.
There's no need for any nukes whatsoever. As far as for a defense, like I said, all we need is a couple of satellites that can shoot down tungsten rods. It's actually more environmentally friendly.
Well, they still make nuclear weapons for subs, but I think that's all we're doing now. I don't think we're even.
Well, hold on now. They even negate subs because the whole purpose of subs is for you not to know they're there and they can sneak up on you. Well, if you're in space, we're looking at you 24/7. We don't need to sneak up on you. We can just drop a hammer on your ass. We can drop a tungsten rod on a ship in the water. We don't need subs. That's all that's all the defense warfare game budget, take your money crap still thought process that we're going through. And as far as for a tactical advantages in warfare, you want to do max damage with minimum amount of expense and minimum loss of life and equipment. And every strategy I see on a worldwide war type scale is drop a tungsten rod from space. You don't need to send men in there. You've already got eyes on from space. You can get the exact trajectory. You know exactly. You can hit it 24/7. You don't have to send in no SEAL teams, no CCT, no observers. You don't have to waste no gas getting them there. And it's all taken care of. So again, therefore, most of the military on a large scale war, the military is irrelevant. So while our military needs to focus on tactically is the small engagements where you don't want to drop a tungsten rod and take out a whole city because it's just a little tribal incident here or there and they move around and it'd be too much collateral damage. But in a massive warfare, we're not going to have a massive war with America because we'll win it in about 6 seconds because that's about how long it takes for tungsten rods to go from space to hit the ground. And you drop 20 tungsten rods on a country. You just took out 20 of your cities in 6 seconds. Do you really think they're going to want to retaliate and get more? They're going to be surrendering quicker.
Yeah, they will retaliate. But
that's
not always what we do. It's what they do. And so, but as long as they have nuclear missiles, we will have to have that in order to counter that.
No, we won't. We don't need nuclear missiles. The nuclear missile, that's a bullshit psychological thing there. It's a deterrent for nuclear war. Well, okay, we have enough. The threat in the future is going to lie in the not the first world countries who have 5,000 nuclear weapons and can blow up every planet in the universe with the amount of weapons we have now. We don't need any more. We've got more than enough. We can blow ourselves up and kill the world. We have,
but they're not obsolete
the threat.
They're not obsolete until the other countries deem them obsolete, and at that point that we won't
okay. I'm gonna skip points here. So what you're saying is, even though we have a technology that can outdo their technology, we're going to stick with the lower form of technology so we can keep playing hit and miss and not win the game. When have we ever played that strategy? I mean, it's a strategy. I'm not taking it away from you. It is a strategy. But whenever we ever play that game, and I'm not saying it's not being used because it could be being used, but it would be being used through manipulation of continuation of money being flown into the Defense Department to keep money flowing that way. And what I am suggesting is we need to get out of that mindset and go to a cheaper mindset where we can still be world dominant and not spend $1 trillion a year on our military. And the only reason we spend $1 trillion a year on our military is because of the mindset that you have of, well, if they have it, we have it. Okay, well, let's break out the nukes that we had in the 1940s and put 7 of them on the tip of a missile. That'll make the exact same thing. We've got like thousands of them. All we need to do is tape them together and they'll make a big boom. I mean, how many big booms do we need? I mean, India's now got nukes. China's got nukes. Russia's got nukes. Iran's got nukes. America. How many more nukes do we need? So everyone's in the nuke game. What we need to do is evolve to the next game that they are not at so that we will maintain world leaders, because to be a world power. And trust me, the world wants America to be the world cop. It's just how it is. They decided that after World War II. It was guaranteed after World War II. Russia loved it. Everybody loved it. and it's going to stay that way. Everyone's making money off of America being the world cops. The problem with America is our politics over the past 30 or 40 years has gone astray, and we're blaming everything on everything except for the fact that we became complacent as a nation and gave over more control through paying higher taxes on, or paying more tax on different things so that we don't have to do it ourselves. We'll pay someone else to do it. That's basically what a tax is. They've convinced you that if you pay a tax, someone that they pay will do the job for you. So in other words, if you go outside and you clean up your own neighborhood, well, you just saved your city a lot of money, because if everyone goes out and cleans their own neighborhood up, your city no longer has to buy trash, or not trash trucks, but street sweeping trucks by the hundreds of thousands per truck. They don't have to pay employees to drive them around. They don't have to dump it. All this tax dollar goes to have someone drive a truck around and just sweep a road that you could very easily do yourself. But you'll pay a tax for it. That's the convenience for tax that we have been born into and are used to. Trust me, out here in California, we not one motherfucker but me has talked about, why don't we just cut? I mean, you keep wanting to tax. When is it enough? Can we just get rid of all the pork barrel spending and all the theft and see about how big a surplus we'll have with the amount you already taxed us that you're not spending properly? No one wants to talk about that out here. They just tax us to fucking hell. California is the most taxed state in America, and we ain't got shit for services.
That's a good idea, but it's a lot easier to say than do, because every congressman has to answer to their people. And so when you make a cut and you do away, if there was a bridge going to be built, you don't build it. If it's this or that, you don't do it. They're going to come back to their district, and their district, any of the ones that get slammed are going to protest. It don't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. They're going to fight it.
You're 100% correct. They are going to fight it. And the rest of America is going to get up and say, hey, why is that 1% getting a bridge to nowhere that cost me $400 million when no one's going to use that bridge, and it's only going to give them 4 months of work, and then they're going to be poor again? That's not a solution. Let's come up with a better one that doesn't waste money. Holy shit, is that an intelligent thought or what? All I'm saying is we need to start thinking intelligently rather than status quo of, well, we just got to spend because someone paid me to spend. I just went through that. That's the street sweep that I just used because I'm too lazy to do it myself. I'll pay someone else.
I got examples.
Go ahead, I'll throw it apart too.
We got Obama's money and here, which we shouldn't. I got anyway, waste. And they said we got to build sidewalks, and we'll have to give the money back. So they built sidewalks to nowhere, just so to keep the guys working busy, because they didn't have work for them other than that. And it's use it or lose it, and that use it or lose it's destroying the country. That's what's going on.
Oh, it's been like that since the 80s, bro. My dad was in the Navy, retired after like 22 years. He got a job in civil service working for the Navy at Ground Electronics in NAS, Pensacola, Florida, where the Blue Angels are. He actually he kept them in the air with as far as any part needed. He was responsible for bringing in. And what the Navy does, and I know everyone else does this too, is in October, if they don't spend every penny, they have to do an accounting, and they get less money the next year. And they always want more money. So for the past 40 years, when it comes time to have you used everything from the last round, why do you think if you go to government auctions, they have 2-year-old equipment that's in mint condition selling for 1/100th the price? Exuberant waste.
How do you get $100,000 toilet?
How do you get No, they don't sell $100,000 toilets. They'll sell them for $50 and buy it for $100,000.
Yeah, but that's what our toilets cost at one time. We were paying $100,000.
Yeah, and a deuce and a half costs more than $6,000 after you rebuild the engine and transmission. But you can still buy one with a brand new engine and transmission for $6,000 at a government surplus. Why does the government do that? Because they can replace it for $700,000 to stimulate the economy. See, we need to quit stimulating and growing the economy through fraudulent means, meaning growing the government. Is why we have we have 450 agencies, overlapping regulations on each one of them. Every step you make according to one of those 450 agencies is a felony. But they're illegal. The reason why they're illegal is because we're not supposed to grow the government. We're supposed to grow the economy. And for the past 30, 40 years, we've been used to giving our money up so that someone can come sweep our streets and we get paid them, and it grows the government economy. and not the real economy. And we've been growing the government economy for the past 30 or 40 years. And if you look at what Milei did, Argentina was doing similar things. They were over 30% inflation, and in 7 months, it's down to 5%. How the hell did that happen? He cut government by 3%, and it dropped inflation by 25%. Holy cow. Holy cow. And these people are saying you can't drop inflation. There's nothing you can do. There's a V-shaped recovery baked in. And by the end of 2025, y'all be celebrating the good times to come. I see it. It's a clear pathway. Anyone who wants to leave a legacy of a good presidency will follow the pathway I see that Xavier Milei made down there in Argentina as a perfect example. I would even go further, because if you go further, you could extend the exuberance of wealth of America for decades if you cut a lot right now and you stimulate the real economy. Privately owned companies, small businesses, and we start following a Norwegian way of doing things. The reason why Norwegians are some of the wealthiest people in the world is because they don't allow centralized commerce, all their money to go to Washington and DC. If you're in Timbuktu, New Mexico, you should keep your money in Timbuktu, New Mexico. But because we've gone the national way, globalist way, we send all our money to Washington and New York City. That needs to quit. And as soon as that quits and you keep your money locally, you'll find out you're going to have more local rich people. Once you have more local rich people, you're going to find out they're going to be more interested in local governing because they're going to see their wealth being taken by local taxes. And that's how you make federal change. Unless someone comes along and starts cutting the frick out of the government because it's bloated, overspending, too large for its. What's up, Sean? Sorry, I didn't see.
I can already see they're gonna battle Trump, Republicans and Democrats, because the budget already the Democrats and Republicans are already starting trying to agree, and Trump's saying I ain't going with that.
And you're 100% correct, and they're going to 100% lose because for the first time in history, they're going to have to 100% face the people in the form of Vivek and Elon, because they're going to go straight to the people, and the people are going to speak to them. And all those people who paid those congressmen to fuck us, those congressmen are going to say, wow, you're only 2 people, even though you gave me $1 million. The other subscribers that I have that actually voted me in are telling you to get screwed. So I've got to tell you, get screwed. I know I'm not going to get reelected, but I got to listen to what they say, because these damn Vivek and Musk are putting everything out to the public, and they know what the fuck we're doing. If that happens, it'll change. And I have a feeling, since they're here and they already came up with a department, and even though it's illegal in another federal agency, supposedly, or I don't even know what the hell it is, but we're not talking about that. We're just accepting that it's going to happen. So it's going to happen. The psychology is there. We're not even questioning the power this thing has. Congressmen and senators are already running to Eli Musk and Vivek, telling them where they can cut wasteful spending. No one's talking about that, but they've already got probably $1 trillion they can cut off the national budget yearly, which means just by cutting that, they could lower taxes by $500 billion, and in 30 years still pay off the debt without changing a damn thing.
I think we could cut the government by 50%. I don't think it.
I wouldn't go that far. I'd go 10% right off the bat and see what that does. And I would open a lot of pathways, which he seems to want to do as far as cutting regulation. That makes it easier for people to start businesses. Trust me, I know. I had started a business called Han Solo Ironworks, where I got my C-51 contractors, a structural steel contractor's license, where you can build high rises. I had that. I had insurance, had everything, then COVID hit, and I lost it all because the regulations changed, and it just made it so much harder to get anything done, and people staying at home instead of going at the job site and working. And So if they cut regulation, a lot of smart people will be able to open successful businesses and make money working for themselves, and that is how you grow an economy. You don't want to grow an economy through growing a government. You want to grow an economy by growing the economy. And our government has been growing, not our economy. And they've been faking these numbers on Wall Street by dropping companies as they lose stock dominance and bringing new companies in. So it always stays positive, and you think that we have a positive economy. But if you look at it, in reality, we have a wrecked economy that's been falsely kept up by fake numbers and changing out companies on Wall Street to keep the numbers high. In other words, every couple of years, the companies that are in first place get put into the S&P 500 or these others to keep them up, and the ones that aren't doing good are taken out. That's wrong. That's so wrong on judging any kind of economy. That's just not the way you do it. That's how you get a crash. And that's why we're going to have a crash.
Well, and Steve talked about Hawaii. Yeah, I think they should get another shot at their own independence. I felt that way. It was stolen from them. They ought to be able to get a shot.
You're right. You're right. Hold on. Let's think this through. Okay, America pulls out. Do they know Chinese? Because as soon as America pulls out, they're going to be taken over by China. And China's not going to give them that choice. Probably kill them all and start using them for human body part surgery and all this other weird stuff we're hearing about them. Because America's not there to defend them from that. Did we ever think of that? Hey, let's pull out. Oh, they'll be free and happy in utopia. When the hell has that ever happened?
America will still be there. It just won't be.
No, it won't, because they'll also let China in, start negotiating, and that'll fuck up. Oh my God, holy cow. That'll fuck up over $1 trillion worth of natural resources. And you know what? The free land of Hawaii won't have the money. So what they'll do, they'll contract with China, and China will take all those resources, kind of like the One Belt Road Initiative, because the greedy, corrupt leaders that were there before we took over will come back and do the exact same thing and sell their people out. But this time they'll be able to blame the Chinese instead of American, because it's just how it works. Getting rid of America doesn't change shit. You haven't got rid of your bad leaders that you still have over there today, that they voted to have over there, which shows they can't control their own country if they wanted it as a country.
But you forget,
they allowed all these other people in to take over.
But forget, wait a minute.
Hold on a second. For there to be a Hawaiian, wouldn't you have to have a whole bunch of native Hawaiians? What is the percent of actual native Hawaiians left in Hawaii? 5%? So everyone else has to leave and only 5% of the humans will be there because they're the only natural Hawaiians that can make that government up, the defense force, the tax base, and every. Okay, let's get serious. God damn, let's get serious.
Wait a minute. There's still American businesses there, so therefore there's still an interest for the U.S. to make sure.
Well, no, because they would have to renegotiate terms. And if they didn't like new terms, they'd kick those businesses out. So right now, yeah, but after they turn into something else, no, because that's all up in the air. It's not guaranteed. You're assuming it's guaranteed, thus showing that you're even going further out on the plank before you fall off the end of it. And I'm just trying to tell you, you're on the plank, don't fall off the end, and you just took another step.
Well, they should still have the right. If they fail,
you're right. They should have the right. They had that right, and they lost it, and now we have control.
Because they were tricked.
Good for them. Good for them. Stupid people need to be controlled. Because
they were lied to. There's a difference. You can trust somebody. You can be lied to.
You're right. They were lied to, and the Chinese don't lie, and that's when the Chinese will take them over.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
There is no better option for Hawaii other than
everybody lies.
Everybody knows that America is the greatest country in the world. You have enough freedom to argue with me on a public format right now. You want to know why I speak in Russian? Why we don't see no Russian commentary like this? It's not allowed. So
yeah,
God bless America. God bless America. No, what you saw was government controlled because Google is not in Russia. They got kicked out. So how can YouTube be in Russia? Come on, man. I know what I'm talking about.
I saw that Gammons they took his Russian channel down.
No, they took every channel down because Google does not exist in Russia. They got kicked out. They owe Russia more money than's on the planet Earth. And they're hoping that Trump can renegotiate terms so they can pay the fine off so they can get back into Russia. I'm keeping up with the shit, man. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. They're not in Russia, so you ain't seeing shit out of Russia on YouTube or Google because they're not in Russia.
Anyway, Steve, one of us agrees with you. I agree with Steve and Shelby Mustang. I think he would like to see Hawaii get their independence back. So
I don't care what people would like. I'd like to see peace and freedom on Earth, but we can't have that, can we? So if we can get peace and freedom on Earth, I'll agree to it because then every country will be free. But as long as you have one tyrant out there, if you go Mahatma Gandhi on them, they're going to take over everything, and you're going to wish like hell America came back with their guns.
Right, Steve. You're right, Steve. Japan would be more likely to become involved with Hawaii.
Yeah.
Japan would beat China to it.
Do you know the history and why we don't allow Japan to have a military? Read the history of what they did before World War II.
Wait a minute. Japan changed the constitution. They've got a military now. They're building
Yeah,
up.
we allowed it because of what China's doing, and China ought to be seriously concerned for the exact thing I was fixing to say before you said that. The history of Japan owning China for thousands of years, and any battle that they've had is outstandingly in the favor of Japan. So China should fear the fuck out of any military that Japan is allowed to have. And yes, America did allow Japan to have a larger defense force. I did a video on it. If you watch my videos, they are now the 4th largest spender on defense on this planet. In 1 year, they went from having no defense to the 4th largest. Is that a tell? Is that a concern? I don't know. Watch my videos and you can figure it out for yourself. I think it is, but
Yeah, but Japan, they're dying as a group
people,
of people.
yeah. But they're
so
also
they're not, how many men could they put together to be they can't be, they're not a threat anymore. They can't be a threat to others anymore.
Yes, yes, they can. Yes, very easily can they be a threat. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog, bro. Those people got fight.
They're gonna be a bunch of samurais.
Well, speaking of that, because of so many wars that they had with China, there is a crab that's located in the Japan Sea. I guess it's between Japan and China, that strait of water. And it's only located in that section. And if you catch this crab and you turn it over, the markings on the back of it look exactly like a samurai with a war helmet on. And the lore of the Japanese is it's the souls of all the samurai that were killed off, the hundreds of thousands of Chinese that tried to invade Japan unsuccessfully. So there is and if you look at there's a science out there. I didn't do a video on it, but there's a science out there of how animals have memories, and how there's a new theory in science coming out about what is it? Evolutionary imprinting. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that. It's real new, but through evolutionary imprinting, if it is and I'm still learning about it, so I don't really know, but I can see where those crabs are an evolutionary imprint of all the wars over the thousands of years that China and Japan have had, and all the dead bodies that hit that area. So I see a pathway for premise for that fable of those crabs in that area of the world having a samurai face on the bottom of them, and that being the only place in the world they're found. But that's science. We probably won't perfect that science for 100 or so years and come to those conclusions. So I'm hella early on that one.
And Steve, they make great wrestlers too. Man, they've been
The
some great
sumos?
wrestlers. So, oh yeah, Samoans. Oh man, yeah. They Rikushi, I think he was.
Dude, Rikishi ain't shit. Steve, if you want to see a big Samoan, bro, go to the Hawaiian local 625 and ask to talk to their hold on, it's been 2020. He might not be their business manager now. There was this huge, he was about 400 pounds, 6'6", big Samoan son bitch was their business manager back then. I actually almost got into it with him. It was kind of funny, but we had a bad start on making relations, but we quickly got over it.
He sat down in a chair. You were in there. He didn't see you.
No, he was out back, and their whole fucking. It's different there. They leave their whole fucking doors wide open, and they're like big doors that you can get a school bus inside a place. He's got like 2 of them. They're open, right? So you go in, and there's like a big punching bag and weight bags and shit like that on the wall. So I went in there and I started fucking around with them, not knowing that it was off limits because everything in the hall belongs to the hall. And I was a union member, so it now obviously belonged to me, so I can use it, was my thought process. And he came out and looked at me, and that's when I threw a high kick at the bag, and it hit about where his jaw was, and I looked at him. I said, "What's up, Holmes?" And I guess he liked how I addressed him without fear. And then, of course, he found out that the girl in the back quickly told him who I was. And he's like, "Oh, so you're Neil. We've been waiting for you, man." They talk kind of, it's cool how they talk. but he was a scary motherfucker, man. He was like 425 pounds, 6'4", big old ass son of a bitch. I would have very much hated to get into it with him. I still would have if he'd given me cause, but it would have been The worst
And
day of my life.
the Rock ain't exactly small.
Compared to this guy, Rock's real small. Rock's only like 275. This guy has him by 150 pounds, dude. It's like 25 or 50% bigger than the Rock and taller. I mean, yeah, it was mostly gut, but gut and chest and arms and legs. Everything was big on that son of a bitch.
I don't see Canada becoming a U.S. state.
Oh, that's one thing I have for this Sunday. I saw this video. This guy gave 5 areas that can logically be taken to expand the U.S. territory, and he named 5 of them off, and I agreed with 4 of the 5 of them. And actually, I've talked about 4 of the 5 of them. So I'm going to show it this Sunday on my live stream. Shows someone else agrees with me that we should annex a few places. But that'll be this Sunday.
I mean, I feel for the Canadians that want to become Americans. I understand why, but I don't think that's going to happen. You're talking about that would be very complicated. I think they have to become their own country first and then do it.
I don't think it'll ever happen. What industry do they have?
They got a lot of lumber.
No, they don't. They're a fucking island.
A lot of Canada has lumber all over the place.
Canada's a great big country, of course. It's if you look at a map, 90% of Canadians live in the lower 10% of Canada because the top 90% is not touched. Lots of trees. Hawaii is a hell of a lot smaller than Canada.
You're still talking about Hawaii? I thought we already got past that.
No, we're taking Canada, bro, or Greenland. We'll either take Canada, Mexico, or we'll buy Greenland. And there's a better the best pathway that I see is us buying Greenland, using the international community through tariffs to pressure Denmark to sell it for probably $60 billion to $80 billion, and they'll do it because they don't have the infrastructure to be able to take advantage of it. We do.
Sean's precious bullion. That sounds good. I don't know if necessarily that would happen. I would think that they should. But I'm not.
Yeah, they get their guns back, man. There's more wildlife up there. You need a gun for that in and of itself. That's the main reason that they can't take guns away from people. People always say, "Hey, I live up where there's animals where I need a gun," and you can't logically take a gun away from a person and say, "No, you need to be eaten by a bear." Sorry, I don't want you to have a gun. That just never flies. So
what do they do when bears come after them?
If you ain't got like a 357 or something fucking heavy like that, you get trampled over, eaten, and hopefully you survive. And maybe cosmetic surgery puts you back together after about.
Well, you can climb trees.
Nope, so can they, and they do it faster than you.
Yeah. You
actually,
make noise.
Here's if you're gonna climb a tree, make it about a 6 to 8. Maybe 10-inch round and go up real high. So that way when the bear gets up on it, it'll start bending over because you'll be up higher. And then you just hop off and it might toss the bear in a different direction. And that'll give you a good 15 to 20 seconds to run, which means it'll only take him 4 or 5 seconds to catch up with you. Does that give you any hope? Yeah. You better hope you already chased that bear.
I got fear of heights. I got fear of teeth and fear of heights.
If you see the bear, it's too damn close. They move fast. Very
they're fast. They're a lot quicker than they look.
Oh my God. If you see it, it's too close. That's why if you ever go in an area, you want to be playing Marky Mark on fucking volume 10 where people can hear you half mile away. That will chase a bear, cougar, lions, all this other stuff away. But just trolling through the woods one day ain't gonna cut it.
If you see a baby bear cub, do not pick it up.
Run.
That's a death sentence.
Run away. Actually, no, don't run away. Oh, fuck. Yeah, you're fucked. Start making a lot of noise. If you see a baby bear. Just yell and scream, and retrace your steps and get the hell out of there.
Or grab his balls and squeeze it. Don't ever let go. Just squeeze as hard as you
Dude,
possibly can.
That's not going to happen. Because to get to his balls, you got to get through his bite and his front two paws, and that right there is enough with his 500 to 700 pound weight to pretty much do you in. And then the first thing they're going to go for actually is your anal area and your nuts. So you got to worry about that. And if you slide,
give him some diarrhea. Oh man, I'm sure that'd be no problem if a bear get that close and doing something to you.
You know,
that should be no problem.
This is where preparedness comes into play. And I always say that because I'm looking at a little 4-ounce Lysol bottle. And always people say, oh, take bear spray, take this, that, the other. And I've heard people say, yeah, it doesn't stop them for charging bear or whatnot. Well, one thing that every critter out there fears for its life?
Fire.
So I have these little Lysol bottles. They're only good for about 30 seconds and they shoot about 2 foot, but they put out a big flame if you put your lighter up there in front of them. And that sound and that sight innately puts fear into its mind because it's a basic thought process creature. It's not an advanced thinking creature. Fear. So if it's got anger and charging, it instantly gets replaced with fear and running away. Same with mountain lions. But see, mountain lions you got to worry about because they always attack you from behind and go for the neck. So that's really no good for that scenario. But you should always be aware that they always jump you from behind and go for the neck. And just know the area that you go into and the animals that are there and prepare for it. And I'd always have a bottle of Lysol. And I smoke, so I always have a lighter. So if I see little bears, just like, flamethrower, baby, as I go backwards. And of course, the unique chemical smell will also throw it off. Burnt Lysol is a hell of an aerosol smell. What's up, Shadow? But I hope never to be in a position to where I will be entertaining a bear. I will be singing jingles and doing all kinds of crap to make them fuckers stay away from me.
Well, I've never had one chase me yet. I hope I never do.
And that's another trick too. Always go with someone that's fat and slow.
No, you knock down the other person and go, oh, I'm sorry. And then you take off. Because he's only going to be able to eat one person at a time. So,
pretty much.
That'll work. So you did.
That's why he always goes to someone that's fatter and slower than you are. They're called bait. That's so mean. Yeah, that only works in the Sean. That only works in the Coca-Cola commercials, brother. I don't think it would work in real life.
Oh my Lord!
You've been chased by cougars, Chef? Ain't it fun?
Oh, Chef Stacker's in the hills.
That's a hell of a fun experience.
Well, you know why he got chased? Because they smell all that food on him.
How did you get him
all
off?
the food on him he's been fixing.
How did you get him off of you? I don't care why the fuck they were chasing you. How did you get him off of you? It's more important. What did you do to chase him off?
See, Chef, you shouldn't have been such a good chef, man. Joseph Lopez now's here. Look at that.
Yeah, this started out because he sent me a message, or he didn't send me a message. My name popped up. I got an alert that he said my name, so I checked out what it was, and it was on drones. And that's why I started this whole live stream, was because of Joseph.
Oh, I did that for 79. I haven't heard back from her yet. Because they smelled all that food you've been fixing. They said, "Man, this guy's gonna be good."
I'm gonna be a little racist and say because they wanted Mexican food. Sorry, I like jokes. They go racist.
If I'm ever in LA, I'm going to eat one of his pizzas that he puts in them special ovens.
Hey,
And
Joseph, I always give credit to people. I don't care to take credit where it's not due, bro. I'm not like that. I have no reason to lie to people because I don't care to impress people. The only reason people lie is because they want to impress people. The only reason people take credit for others, they want to impress people. No offense to anyone. I don't care to impress any of y'all. I'd rather just give you facts and let you guys figure it out on your own if you believe me or not.
I think we need a clarification on Chef. Chef, are these cougars 4-legged or 2-legged? It could be another kind of cougar.
I see your point. Yeah, this old lady would be pissed if it's another kind of cougar. She might break out that 9mm, chase them sons of bitches off.
And at 25, those other cougars would probably chase you. They'd probably have to chase you because you probably would take off running, I'm sure.
In which case, the reason why those cougars are chasing you is because you're showing that gold. And what we call those cougars, there's another name for them. They call it gold diggers. They go after the guys that are going to make a lot of money.
Well, he also melts that silver, so they're probably going, are you the one that melts that silver?
Yeah, you that guy that makes a lot of money? You make a lot of money. Oh, a Sasquatch? You didn't catch that. He said bipedal, so I was making fun of him. I'm surprised everyone's up. Well, not the West Coasters. It's not that old.
Is it about guns, Joseph?
No, it's about this video. It's about drones.
I don't think he gives a rat's butt about drones. He hasn't chimed in on any of the ones. I've been doing drone videos, and he hasn't yet chimed in on.
Constitutional is
guns. Oh, guns, gold, and silver.
He's like a spinning top. He's not staying in one spot for too long. He needs to stop his spin as much.
And cryptos. He does like his cryptos, which I don't. So
I'm not even going to talk about that.
Well, I heard today. What was it? It was a bunch of them saying how everything collapsed today. I went and looked, and I said, "Well, cryptos are only down a little."
People don't know. It's all clickbait.
The market's down what? If it goes down 3%, that is nothing today because it's so high. So I'm going.
That's a world. People will say it's a world-ending crash. Come watch my video.
It wasn't that bad at all. And if you look at it, they dropped the interest rate by a 0.25. Everything goes down the first day they drop, and then it comes back. It roars back a couple of days later. So
I like the Star Wars reference there, brother. Those are not the drones you were looking for. I'm gonna have to watch some more Star Wars stuff now. Dag nabbit. I already watched enough Star Wars stuff. Yeah, you guys need to prepare, start saving, putting cash under the pillow. First 2 quarters of next year are not looking too positive. I'm excited about them because I know what's going to happen for me personally and moves that I've set myself up for. And I can see them playing out. So it'll be good for me because the economy is going to work better for what I'm getting into. But that's because I've positioned myself. And that's why I've told people, position yourself for it. So I've done that. So I'm excited. But for everyone who hasn't done it, I am terrified for you.
Well, I do good. If the economy's booming, I do well. If the economy's in the crapper, I do real well. It's the in-between that I don't do as well.
I didn't show the video, Joseph Lopez, but I did go through, and we did not talk about patents that the Navy has on plasma weapons, but they actually do have patents on that as well. I did go through patents that the Navy has and to bring attention to another, not just going, oh, I've never seen that. It's alien, because the actual terminology of alien is an advanced technology. And we've already all agreed that the government doesn't turn over their most advanced technology as soon as they get it. They keep it for 30 or 40 years, then turn it over to us. So any advanced technology or alien, I'm going to give credit to the government, especially since they're not concerned. And that to me seems to be the most logical step. Because if they're aliens and they're shooting plasma weapons in the sky and the Air Force and the government, no one's concerned, then we're all dead anyhow, so it doesn't matter. Because if our government's not going to fight them and don't care about them, oh well, we're fucked. So that's the option if they actually are aliens, and I don't think that's the case. But you can have that theory. It'll be proven one day what they actually are. Again, government's not.
Mary, I've been saying that. I've been saying that there ain't nothing going to happen with this crypto and Trump stuff. He just wanted votes in that particular group. And so he said all that stuff. And that's what's making crypto skyrocket right now. And there's nothing going to happen with it. And so I can see it dropping to 50,000.
Hold on a second here. I'm going to feed the other side of the coin to that. It can't happen unless, and here goes, there is a Senate and Congress controlled by the Republicans doing his bidding. Then, oh my God, it could happen because they can pass these things called laws.
But they're not going to.
Well, okay, so is that what your crystal ball says? Does it say what
I know. They're going to be resistant to cryptos, both Democrats and Republicans.
Okay, well, the Democrats don't matter. Why are the Republicans going to do that?
Because most of them are like me; they don't trust it, and I would say I somewhat understand it, but a lot of them won't understand it. And
hold on, so they can have national security secrets that you can't understand, and they understand very well, but they don't understand this, and you do. Okay, I understand your logic. Continue.
Well, anyway, they're just not going. They're going to resist this change. Of
course they are. They're already saying that he's going to throw them in jail.
Swampers, and they're not going to go along with a lot of the stuff that Trump is going to suggest.
Of course not. I mean, look what they've been doing for the past 4 years when they've been in control. You think they're going to be helpful, kind, and do you think they're going to be kind, helpful, and grateful now? No, they're all quitting. Even foreign government people are quitting. Look at what happened in Canada. 2 of their main people just resigned. They're like, oh, fuck, Trump's in office. I'm quitting. And now Trudeau's going to be quitting. And he, guy's not even got in office yet.
Well, that's going to be one of my predictions on my show that nothing's going to happen.
What you're saying is he's got such influence that he can change the direction of foreign governments and cause their own governments just to resign, knowing that they're going to get voted out anyhow. But yet he doesn't have enough power to make change in America. Nope. Like I said, I understand what logic you're using. I totally disagree with it being used as logic for one, much less.
He's still lame duck.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He can't run again. He's a lame duck.
Not like any other quote-unquote lame ducks, because quote-unquote lame ducks of any other kind haven't had the momentum that he's had. They haven't had the change being needed. There's so many things different. That this is such a liberal conversation to have. I am not a Democrat. I'm not having this conversation. Everything is different this time. Look at the world. Tell me it was the same in 1971. Okay? Now everything's different. And he's got the backing of the people. He's going to have the Senate and the Congress. So he's got 2 years. And you know what happens if in 2 years we're doing better than we are now? You know what's going to happen? The Democrats are going to take credit and take over the world again. Yeah, okay, that's a logic that you can use. But in reality, what's going to happen is the next president will be for 8 years, and it'll be a Republican, giving the Republicans 12 years in power, in which case the Democrats not only committed suicide for now, they committed suicide forever. And I see the Democratic Party going away because all of their foreign donors have dried up. So where are they getting their money from? Because they've never done good when they had to use their own money, because they don't come off their own money. They always use someone else's. Now everyone else whose money they used is gone. So where are they going to get their money? Especially if Harris keeps coming up and talking. They're
right
losing
or wrong.
donors left, right, and center. So where are they going to get their money if the economy is doing so great for a lame duck president?
Wait a minute.
And
Wait a
all
minute.
of us are saying, I'm doing better now than I was 4 years ago. Why
Wrong.
would we give that all up? Are we, in your logic, are we all that stupid that as soon as
Yeah, they
this
are.
term is over,
Hey,
we're going to say, fuck it, it was a good run, let's kill ourselves now? That
well, I
basically
got
is
to
what
ask you.
your
I got to
logic
ask you a
says we're
question.
going to do. Okay.
I got to
See,
ask you
you
a
have
question.
your logic. I understand you have logic.
I got to ask you a question. Are
I'm
they
just
or
asking
are
you
they
if you
not
thought it
fighting?
through.
Already fighting Trump on the budget? Both teams.
Dude, I can fucking lower the budget. You should have voted for me. I'll tell you. You want to know how to lower the budget?
They're fighting it. They would fight you.
Yeah, they're gonna fight it. Hold on a second. Now, see, this is the liberal coming out in you. Yes, they're fighting it. Now, hold on a
Ain't no
second.
liberal in me. Ain't
Yeah,
no
no,
liberal.
it is, because we're gonna have this conversation in 30 days when the Congress is not the same and the Senate is not the same, and your answer is not going to be the same. And then what's going to happen after that? Hold on, what is the day? The 18th. A couple days after that, we will have a new president. See, so everything's going to be different in 30 days. So right now, yeah, they're fighting. You're right, because that's what they're doing. They're dead fish. Have you ever seen a chicken with its head cut off still running around? That's what you're looking at. So yeah, they're gonna fight, and they're gonna lose. It's a chicken with its head cut off syndrome. They're just running around. We should be laughing at him, saying, "Look, chicken with his head cut off, still running around like he knows what he's doing. Can't even clack." We're gonna eat him tonight for dinner.
You'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. These so-called loyalists to Trump will let him down. They did that when he got elected the first time. They fought him the first 2 years.
Yep. You're 100% right, man. I'm just wondering why you haven't been right for the past 4 years, and now you're all of a sudden right. That's all.
I was right. I said Trump would get elected. He did.
No, you aren't right. You didn't say he wouldn't get elected. You said last time he would get elected, and he didn't.
Well, I didn't know.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I didn't know the virus.
I didn't mean to bring up the past. My bad.
I didn't know that the virus thing. Well, they cheated for one thing.
It don't matter.
They cheated for one thing. He
That's
did
why
win.
You don't open your mouth on a video that's recorded for future use.
He did win.
You know what the fuck you're talking about.
He did win last time. It's just that they
no, he didn't. He lost.
They cheated him.
No, the system's made for cheating. It's made for cheating.
He's won 3 times.
For cheating. Have you ever seen congressional maps? They make no sense at all because they're run off of population, and they try and grab the largest population areas. That's why one congressional district will finger over out 500 miles just to incorporate another little neighborhood that they know they can get. I mean, look at the map to get some commonsensical understanding of the geography of the political scene, and you will say, wow, I didn't realize it was that fucked up. Yeah,
Republicans do that too. Republicans do that too.
I never said they didn't. What I will say is, if you voted for me, I wouldn't do that. I would already have this shit fixed. I'd have had the white paper out on exactly how to fix it, and people would be coming to me saying where I'm wrong, and I could logically go through it and see where I was wrong, and tweak my system so that way when I got into office on January 1st, I'd have had my system tweaked, implemented. First 100 days, America would be back on track. I could take 3.5 years off and still get paid $425,000 a year. Go to parties and shit.
It will take 20 Trumps, 30 years to get America fixed.
Nope. We can get on the right track real fast. And it was designed that way. See, this corruption was designed to be set in. It was all designed, and it's also designed to end. Your system only, your thought process will work if there's never been social experiments done on countries. And after having said that, I must remind you, America is a social experiment. Okay. They're going to be running experiments, whoever the fuck they are. They're going to be running 50-year experiments and 100-year experiments on us for quite some time. We just have to accept that we're peons in the system. And we are, because there's experiments going on. I'm showing it in West Africa. What I'm thinking is happening in West Africa is Russia's dumping South Africa as a GDP loving ally in BRICS, and they're going to try and swoo in West Africa because they're the future money maker and GDP winner of Africa. Because right now, and I've said this in my videos, Russia could easily go down there and restart their fucking South Africa's nuclear reactors, and they'd have power and they'd have no problems. Business would be running good. They'd be pulling platinum out of the ground. Their companies wouldn't be failing. They wouldn't be the murder capital of the world. But they're not. Instead, Russia's building nuclear power plants in West Africa and Egypt. Well, none of those places are BRICS partners. South Africa is a BRICS partner, and Russia, the head of BRICS, isn't helping them. No one seems to think that's interesting because BRICS is going to take over the world. Okay, that's interesting theory too, and there's some logic there. I disagree with that one as well, but okay,
Well, just all right. What's going to happen in Syria?
Russia gave up Syria, bro. They gave up Syria to Israel.
Iran
they fucking left Iran with their pants down.
Well, yeah, but Iran is
they're thinking that Trump is going to win, and they're going to have to end the war in Ukraine. So they figure since they have to pull back and recoup, they were going to pull their outer colonies back first. And since Afghanistan's meaningless to them, they said, okay, little man running that country for us, come back to Moscow, let the others fight it over. And it's about time, because if anyone has any memory whatsoever, when we fought this one war, when was it? It was back in, that's maybe why I remember it so well. It was back in 1991. There was this group of people over there. They called themselves the Kurds. They were very, very helpful, and we made lots of promises to them. And I was so disappointed when the government broke all those promises. And then I hear their name again in Iran a couple of year and a half ago. And I'm like, oh, they're still there and they're still allies with us after we fucked them. And then I hear their name again when Assad leaves, that they're one of the freedom fighters that's trying to take Syria. But if you remember that war in 1991, we were supposed to have helped them and backed them up to take part of Syria for their homeland. Because actually, unlike the Palestinians, the Kurds actually have historical references to land ownership in the Middle East, and every one of the Islamic countries is denying that. Turkey denies them too. Israel.
Turkey's going in. Turkey's going to go into Syria. It looks like
Turkey's not going to go in. They're going in by proxy, but the Kurds are going to move in and take a large part of it, as rightfully they should. And I think we should support them in that action because they've been fucking them over for 40 years. And they still do our bidding. It's kind of stupid of them, but it's actually
it's going to be the story of 2025. It's going to be an absolute mess over there.
Nah, it's not going to be a mess over there. It's all going to get squared away soon.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. It is neither the time nor the place.
Damascus will be in ruins.
It's already in ruins.
Well, worse ruins.
Oh, it's going to be in worse ruins. Yeah, it'll be in worse ruins. They don't do any maintenance on it. So tomorrow it'll be in worse ruins than today. Yeah. But see, for you to say it's over is really weird, because if you go over there, they seem to think it's not over, because there's 5 countries over there that are building rivers through their deserts because they want to be food producers to the world by 2028. So their vision of the world is different than yours. So I wonder what they know, being that they live over there, that you don't know about over there, because you don't live over there and they do. There's 5 countries right now not using any money from anyone else, only their own country. That's why you haven't heard about these stories, because there ain't no money going into it from foreign services or foreign peoples or foreign governments or IMF or central bank this or whatever that. They're building these things by themselves. I looked into Afghanistan and how they're doing it. The genius of how they're doing it with such low-tech shit is awesome. I mean, I hate that what's going to happen when they finish, but it's genius technology. It's so simple. It's very genius of them. If you guys should look into it, see what they're doing. They're building a nice river, very nice river.
Do we lose you? I think we lost him. He must have muted himself.
Sorry about that. I had to get some milk for my tea. %50 of homeless are over 50 years old. 50% of people over 50 years old have zero saved for retirement. Okay. What did you say?
Did you burp?
Yes, I did. I'd prefer to call it a belch, but a burp will work.
I know. I'll probably be homeless someday.
See, Shadowworks, the problem with that, first thing that comes to my mind when I see that statistic is if they're over 50, their kids are pieces of shit, or they were piece of shit parents to raise children that would allow them to live in the street at 50 years old, is my first thought. The family scenario has crashed, and now the government and taxpayers have to cover what the family unit used to cover. This goes back to what I just said a while ago about, for convenience, we'll pay more tax to have a street sweeper come by and not clean the street as well as we could if we got off our lazy ass and did it ourselves. But we'll pay someone else to do it. That mentality leads to what you just said right there. Because the 50% homeless that are over 50, unless all of them don't have children, there's something to be said for why they're on the streets. Either they were piece of shit parents or they raised piece of shit kids, because they shouldn't be on the streets if there was a family unit. Having said that, yeah, sure, the government, for ease and convenience, allowed the family unit to be destroyed. And everyone, for ease and convenience, took that pathway. Hey, it's easier and convenient to stick grandpa in an old folks home than to keep him at the house with us. It's too inconvenient. He'll be in our way. You know that you can come up with the stories of what people say to get rid of responsibilities. So when you get rid of responsibilities for over 50 years, you get numbers like that right there. It's called personal responsibilities, family responsibilities. Every family needs to step up, and that number will drop. And that right there, Mary, is the 50% we need to take care of, because who fits into that is the 300,000 veterans that are on the street, most of them with PTSD, and that's why they're on the streets. And I can understand how you can instantly go into a rage, because PTSD is something the government caused and is doing nothing to help. And they should definitely be helping those vets, because I have PTSD. I know. And I had no help. I'm a strong individual, intelligent individual. I'm able to control it when it happens. There are some times when I really want, but I control it, so it's cool. But a lot of people can't. They don't have the mentality to, so they get kicked out of their places. They lose their jobs, and then they have no future because of it, all because of something the government did to them, which is put them into a war zone. And then once they got out, throw them back into society, saying, hey, we know you saw your best friend get his head blown off just yesterday, but you got to go work at McDonald's today, bro. Get over it. Doesn't really fucking work.
I should go work at McDonald's and see what it's like.
The government needs to, and if you look, and there's actually social experiments. See how I weave? There's social experiments out there. Israel has a very successful one, because they have a mandatory service, which means even their mentally challenged or weak people have to serve. So they had to come up with a way to reintegrate them back into society. And this is the interesting thing they've done. If you serve, and you have to, for 2 years in the Israeli military, you get,
male
after
and female.
2 years, what?
Male and female.
All of everybody. There's there might be exception if you're politically or rich enough and your parents buy you out of it, but for the most part, 98% of them, no matter boy or girl, you serve. But after that service, Israel has they make a lot of money because they own a lot of destination resorts for tourism. And after you serve, if you were in a combat arena where you were, faced stuff that could cause you PTSD, you got 6 months to a year to live at whatever vacation resort that they own anywhere in the world for 6 months to a year at no cost to you to decompress and get back to normal. They give you, and of course, psychological services are available at all these resorts that they own, and that's everybody. So what that means is the 40% that see action of Israel get a free 6 months to a year vacation with psychological, needs met at whatever place they're at to decompress. That would be cool if America did that. If they just at least thought about it anyhow, that would be a step forward in the right direction. When have we not been in a conflict in our lifetimes? Let's see, it started with Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, back to Afghanistan, now Korea again, Vietnam. When have we not been in a conflict? But yet we still, over all this time, have not taken care of the mental needs of the people that we send to these things.
And may I inject?
They need the help more than anybody.
May I inject that one of the Indiana women's best basketball players is from Israel? I'm hoping. I was scared to death they were going to call her back home to serve.
It's quite possible. That's quite possible they will, unless. It'll end. The war. It'll all end over there here next month.
If we lose her, Indiana basketball team goes down the toilet. That's all I know.
Well, I know which way to fucking throw my fucking money if I gamble next year. Which I don't gamble.
Life's a gamble.
Yeah, it's perspective. If you see it as a gamble, you could lose. And you're open to that. I'm not. I always win. I'm not open to losing. Setbacks. Okay. Losing. Nah, not too into it. It's not my forte. It doesn't fit me well.
I have no clue on the.
I have a clue.
They had one, and then they found something wrong with it. I don't know. I've heard all this stuff.
Well, they could sacrifice it today, tomorrow. They could sacrifice it till the cows come home, until they run out of perfect red heifers. It's meaningless. That's irrelevant that they can do that, and they clone the perfect red calf. It's all meaningless, because before any of it has meaning, they have to first take a mosque down on the Temple Mount, which means they've got to somehow convince the Islamics to remove their holy site, and then they've got to rebuild the Temple of Solomon on the Temple Mount.
By the way, that'll get blown up.
And then they've got to sacrifice that perfect red calf at that altar. See, it's kind of specific. I know people want to freak out, and this is again about FUD. Oh, well, they just sacrificed it. That means the world's going to end. Okay. You obviously didn't read the sentences that came after that sentence, because they need to do more than just sacrifice the red heifer. I mean, I'll invite them over to my house to sacrifice the perfect red heifer. It won't mean a damn thing.
The temple will get blown up.
For whatever purpose the Bible chose, it has to be done on the Temple Mound after it is rebuilt. It's not been rebuilt. What was built on top of the Temple Mound was a mosque. So now the problem they have is they have to get rid of that mosque. Then they can rebuild the temple. Then you start worrying about that. When are they going to sacrifice the red heifer? Then you'll be closer to the time to worry about that stuff. Worrying about it right now? Is it going to come? Of course it is. Why are you worrying about it now? If you knew the whole story of what has to happen, that's not a concern. And actually, who cares about it? Because if you're a Christian, it's going to be a good day. So why is it a concern? Let's make some money. Let's help some people out. Let's be kind, helpful, and grateful, and not stick our heads in the sand and worry about what other people are doing that might bring around the end of the world. Put yourself in this scenario. 1917, trench warfare, brand new things called gas masks. You don't know if they're effective or not because they've never been tested, but someone just fucking threw mustard gas at you. And check this out. The gas mask is ineffective. Now you're choking and dying and your lungs are starting to come out your fucking throat and your mouth. Do you think it's Armageddon? Because that was only 1917, but I'm sure those boys thought it was Armageddon. Gas.
Mustard gas is nasty stuff.
Oh yeah, and all the other gases they used on human beings in war back that just 110 years ago. I'm sure those people thought the end was near, with the blood sacrifice going on and the chemicals and everything you read in Revelations is happening right before their eyes. But it wasn't the end, because there's a whole bunch of things got to happen, and if they don't happen, the end will never come. And that's the one thing people don't talk about. The end doesn't have to come. He leaves it. We have free will, people. No one ever talks about. We talk about when are they? Why will we allow it? Let's change it. We have the free will to not have the end written in the Bible. It says so, actually. It's just no one takes heed to that part of it because it requires sacrifice of your own self. And oh my God, that's too hard. I'd rather pay taxes to have someone else do it. See the mentality of people? Nice weave, by the way, Neil. Sorry, I like patting myself on the back. Oh, the Euphrates River already dried up a couple times. How long does it have to stay dried up? It's dried up right now. How long is it going to have to stay dried out? It's dried out a few times. So it's going to dry out one more time. And that time will happen at the time that they have rebuilt the Temple Mount on what is that place called? They'll rebuild the temple on the Temple Mount, exactly that, where there's a mosque standing right now. At that point in time, the Euphrates will dry up again, and then we'd be worried about the demons or whatever being released from the Euphrates and the Tigris River where they meet, or whatever Revelation says. I don't think I've seen Olympus Has Fallen. And anyhow, here's another thing that the Bible says: the end will not come as long as there's one righteous man left alive. So be kind, helpful, and grateful. Help prevent the end of the world. It's actually a thing. It really is. If you read the Bible thoroughly. Yeah, one righteous man. That's all it takes, baby. We're all going to suffer. So let's all be righteous. Let's all be kind, helpful, and grateful. Push off the end times for another couple 100 years. Screw up Satan's plan. We have the power. We have the power over angels. All you got to do is know his name. They serve us. That's why they don't like us. That's why they have a disdain for humans, because God put us over them. Hold your head up high. Do God's work, man. Come on. You got more than enough power. You deny it. You defer power to someone else through taxes. Come on, people. See the weave? See the weave? Trump thinks he's the only one who's got the weave.
I guess Chef left because he gets into all this stuff when you talk about this stuff.
Yeah. I had, amazingly enough, 18 people at one point in time in here, which is totally freaking awesome. I think it's a high for me, actually. Even though I only have 5 thumbs up, 6 thumbs up, and there's only 5 watching now. But that's still cool. I had that many come in. That shows that people are at least YouTube sharing my crap. That's a change. But yeah, again, Joseph Lopez, you're totally responsible for this live stream. I did the first 20 minutes basically explaining what I thought of the drones and how, how I am thinking about the story of the drones is a more accurate description. Keep your eye on the government. Yes, Mary, everybody should be feeling very blessed every day we wake up, and we should always, every day, give glory to God for the blessings that He bestows on us daily. If you're breathing, glory to God, because He can take your heartbeat. Like Sam Kinison, the old, oddly enough, died of heart attack, had a great comical skit about God and heart attacks. And everyone said, one day, Sam, he's going to stop your heart. Damn sure enough, he died of a heart attack. But that's one of his funny skits was the God heart attack skit. But of course, he was also a cokehead back in the 80s, along with all the other comedians. Eddie Murphy, who was one before Eddie Murphy? The other black guy. Burnt himself on a crack pipe. Played in a couple movies. Oh, damn, what's his name?
Who you talking about? Comic?
Yeah, he played in
Richard Pryor?
Yeah, Richard Pryor, him, yeah. Richard Pryor, yeah. The coke days of comedians.
Yeah, he set himself on fire.
That's when Sam Kinison came around shortly after that. And Father Guido Sarducci and Andrew Dice Clay. And then it became politically improper to tell a joke. And
Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder made a lot of movies together.
Oh, hell yeah. That's who I was thinking about, Gene Wilder. They did a lot of good movies, a lot of funny movies.
They're crazy. We bad.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end this stream. It's going to be going for an hour and a half. I appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you, Nickel, for coming up here. And maybe next time we'll take you to our leader. Right now, we're still deciding.
Nano.
Nano. Actually, you should look into nano nuclear technology. They're at about $25 a stock now. Probably next year, they'll be at $500. This is not financial advice. Nothing I say is financial advice. I said look into them and make your own financial decisions. But that's one that'll probably be like a Tesla stock, but at a lower percent, a lower.
That sounds like a prediction. You're going to come on my show and give that as a prediction?
I won't give a number, but I do know that through the contracts that they're getting signed right now, they will definitely be going up. I do not know how high, but they will definitely be. They're going to be three figures by the end of next year. Whether that's $101 or $501, I'm not sure.
Well,
but the technology that they're turning out and the way that Congress is pushing for the type stuff that they're turning out and the way the mining companies, all the money's pushing for the things that they're turning out, I can guarantee you that stock's going to be jumping big time. How much? Not sure.
I'm inviting people up, and they're supposed to give 10 predictions for 2025.
That's interesting. I don't know if I'd do 10.
You can do sports, music, deaths.
Oh, I can do some boring ones.
Medals. You can do any category it is. You just got to say a prediction like so and so will die during 2025, or you can say this stock to the moon in 2025. That's what you got.
I can.
I'm sure Kenji will come up and give his
6 or 7, but you ain't gonna like most of them because they'll come true. Because I ain't gonna talk about shit that ain't gonna come true, and I can only think about 6 or 7 now that will come true. So yeah, I can do 6 or 7.
I wonder what Kenji's is going to be.
Probably to have a real Ferrari that's not as big as a Cracker Jack fucking toy.
No, he's going to he's going to trade in his Hot Wheels, his Lambo Hot Wheels for the real thing. I think that's.
No, he's waiting for Ant-Man and that technology so he can take his Hot Wheels toys and make them actually real size.
Kenji kills me.
Every day, everywhere, all the time. Yeah.
No, Bitcoin to $1 million. That'd be one of his predictions.
Always. I was agreeing with Mary. But anyhow, I'm on this stream. Yeah, invite me on your stream. I'll do that.
Later, people.
Take care, guys.